Okay, here we are with our package file. Incidentally, with the package file, you don't really want to go and do this until you get all your images and everything sorted, because then it's really the final stage of getting ready to send your work on, etc. But anyway, I'm just going to stay with this file. We'll assume that everything's 100%. And now remember, as I mentioned, if you do have a font problem, sometimes putting the fonts, getting them out of the systems folder, and then linking them directly from the source can quite often solve some technical problems. So it's a good thing to do. Anyway, I'm just going to open up my new file, if you will, the one that was just created. There's just one other thing I want to look at before we sort of go through into the PDF artwork stage. And if I just move that a little bit in here, like I've got my text over here, that's fine, and I've got my graphics on the right hand side, that's fine as well. But what I've got is a drop shadow on my graphic just here, which may or may not add to the benefit of the design, but it's certainly there nonetheless, as well as a few effects around the edge here, which is sort of like a line effect that's been added to this graphic. Let's just have a look at that, and I'm going to go over here just on the right hand side, and you see something called Flattener Preview, and I'm just going to click on that. Now at the moment nothing is highlighted, and I highlight none. I'm just going to click down here and I'll go rasterize complex regions. Okay, it's come up as a grayscale here, and basically that's looking at where regions, tricky regions, need to be rasterized to see if there's some sort of an issue within the document. Well, I'm just going to go one more down here and I'll look at transparent objects. Oh, now that's interesting. Now just to explain what's going on here, what this tool is doing, the Flattener Preview, is showing errors, or not errors, areas that could perceivably be a problem. If you're working with images, particularly if they've got gradient edges on them, you know, being pixel images or whatever, that may require some degree of rasterization, what you have to really watch out for is that you put your text on top of the image. If the graphic is sitting on top of the text, it will create a rasterized image of that text, resulting in a lower quality output, because it's got the image, even though it might be a soft gradient or whatever it is that touches into the text. In this case here, it might just be around the edge here, not all of it, but nonetheless it's going to create a raster image of that text. Putting the text on top maintains the integrity of the text being really good quality. So I might just get my eyeglass in here, spray that a little bit, and what I've got is, you can see perhaps maybe there's an issue with the text here. What I'm going to do, just to make sure everything's fine, is I'm just going to go to my pointer tool here, and I'm just going to select on the text. And if you're in layers, or if you just want to, in this case I was on the same layer with the imagery, I'm just going to bring my text up. In this case it might be just under object here, arrange, and I'm going to bring all the way to the front. Okay. Basically what it's done is it's solved the problem by bringing the text to the front so that it doesn't get caught up in this area that needs to be rasterized. So just a little word of warning, if you want a really good output that's not going to result in a slightly blurry text because it gets rasterized, then just make sure your text sits on the front. And you can see if there's any issues there through this transparency flattener tool. So I'm just going to close that for now. Just go back and see the rest of the file here, and just click back on to the document. Or just, if it's not coming up properly, I can just make sure that I've got none back up here again, and here it is. Now just one other thing, you're probably quite aware of this, but if you use the W key, you can go into work mode and preview mode. As long as you're not in the text tool itself, if I type W, I'm back into my work mode so I can see everything in all the lines. And of course that's just under the preview. Normal view, preview view, even have your bleed just to show that area. Slug, which is additional information you put outside your bleed. Probably really don't use that a lot, but it can be handy. And then presentation mode when you want to really present the work. But I'm just going to go back and stay in, I'll go up to preview mode here, but just use the W key to go backwards and forwards as well. Okay, and for the final movie after this, we're just going to go through and look at all the issues relating to output to the correct format for a magazine.